30 days ago, Naruto met the Turtles in this epic crossover that had fans buzzing, but has it kept its ninja momentum? 60 days later, is this risque Vampirella New York City Comic Con exclusive still heating up the charts, or has it lost its sizzle? At 90 days in, is the honeymoon over for Mark Spears' stunning Bridezilla cover, or is she still ruling the market? Let's find out. This is your 30, 60, 90 look back. All right, 30, 60, 90. We're going to take a look at a couple of books that we've actually talked about before, because that's just how this is the nature of this segment's going to work. We're always going to return to some of these books. But there is a book that we haven't spoken about before that we're going to talk about in a couple of seconds, really, and two books that we've looked at in the past that we're going to see how they're performing now as opposed to the way they did a few months ago. Let's get started with the first book here, and that's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Naruto. The X is silent, #1. It was new when it came out in November 25th of 2024. The book had a top weekly sale of $15. There was 41 units sold that week, and there was a growth of 203%. The Raws were going for $12 near mint, while slabs were already being pre-sold at $60. What's your knowledge on Naruto? I'm pretty sure you're familiar with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
But
if I had a nickel for every time I hear the word Naruto in my house, I would be able to buy a giant size X-Men 1. I'm just telling you that now. Like,
oh, you're the expert now.
Well, I just hear them talk about it. I got 3 kids, and they have Naruto shirts. They watch Naruto. They read Naruto stuff. They're all into anime. And I think, again, this is one of those books that, kids hear about it, or it gets advertised and they see the name Naruto and they will buy it. And I think that's part of the reason why it's doing so well.
And then you throw a little team called the Turtles in there.
Exactly.
And you have a nice little, team up with 2 very popular characters. The Turtles have been popular for 30 years now, over 30 years. Naruto's been around. He's been around. He's not new. He's been around. I think he's gained a little more popularity now, but he's been out there for quite some time now. That cover looks great. And it's just one of those books that I personally like. This cover is done by Jorge Jimenez. So let's go ahead and take a look at the performance of this book today as opposed to what it was when it first came out about a month ago. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Naruto #1 by Jorge Jimenez. That's the cover A. There are several other covers, but let's take a look at the performance values. This book is currently going for about $10 now near mint, so it's actually dropped in value. However, near mint are going for about $12 raw. The 9.8 also has dropped a little bit, about $3. So it's leveled, I'll say. So talking about covers, not going to go over them. There are 49 variants for this book.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah, crazy.
Do we really need that many variants?
We could have a whole conversation on if you think that the number of variants that get produced hurts or helps the comic market as a whole. I mean, that's a lot of variants.
That is definitely a lot of variants. Just look at this. And don't get me wrong, variants are I don't hate on variants. I just think they're overexposed sometimes. And this is the reason. Like, it's the same book.
Yeah.
It's all the same book. And do we really need that many variants? Okay.
Yeah.
So last known sale of this book was at 9.8 at $60. That was way back in October 11th. That means this book is a $60 book no matter what. Across the border, it has not dipped. It hasn't risen, really. It's just stayed at that $60 marker. Same thing with the Raws. The Raws are $12. So it's not an expensive book. If we take a look at the sales data and the sales performance of this book, and that's what we look at right here, and we're only looking at cover A, we're not going to look at the rest of them. There's 120 sales, and it's still performing. So all these figures that you're seeing right here, I'm just going to go right and I'm going to stop it right around here. All this is within the last 30 days.
Yeah. Which
That's
is amazing considering there's 49 different variants.
mm-hmm. And this is all for cover A.
Yeah.
So out of all 120 sales, you have a good amount, and those are your near mints. And because it's a new book, you don't really have any other types of sales like that. However, when slabs go, I don't think there's as many slabs for this book. We only have 2 recorded sales. So it's the raws that are selling.
Should start to see some more slabs coming in the next couple of months, I'd say.
I think so, but I also believe this is one of those books that, like you said it, the kids are probably buying it.
Yeah.
And if the kids are buying it, I don't see them slabbing them. If that makes sense. So there you have it. Naruto, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Naruto, #1. And we're going to go to our next book here. Now, this is a book we have spoken about before, and that is Vampirella 672, the New York Comic Con variant. This book was on the list on October 28th, week 4. Had a top weekly sale of $200 near mint, and it sold 41 units. Had a growth of 78%. Raws were going for about $170, while slabs were going at $169 at a 9.8. Now that it's been 2 months, what is your overall thought today of this book before we even look at the numbers?
This is one of those ones that when you go to a Comic-Con from now on, you're going to see this graded on the wall, and it's going to have a huge price on it, and it's like a booth attractor. I love Will Jack's art, so I'm glad that this book hit. I don't know. I think that there's not a whole lot of copies in circulation of this book, which is also going to help it maintain its value for sure.
Mm-hmm. Here's something I'm immediately noticing. The raws are going for 170. The slab was going for 169.
Yeah, it's so strange.
The top weekly sale was 200. Now, this is the numbers it was performing back in October, not the numbers today. So let's take a look at the numbers today and how it's performing as of today. So as of today, 9.8 is going for 275. That was the last sale. Meanwhile, near mints are going for 180, and 9.8s, the most common, are averaging out about 219. Within the 2-month period, this book has increased in cost and value. That's a good thing.
Yeah, but quite a bit too.
Mm-hmm. Significantly, right? There are many variants of this book, but this book is a little different than the variants, as we mentioned. Now, the last known sale was $275, and that also is the highest known value of the book. That's important to note, that this book is selling at its highest point at the moment. So that means it'll eventually have to cool down.
Right. And where will it be in 30 more days? Well, it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about it in a month's time. I'm guarantee you we will. Let's take a look at how many sales are actually happening. So the last known sales I'm seeing here in Near Mint Plus happened back in October. The Near Mint, however, they sold in November. So the last known sale happened back in November 23rd. That's what this one is, and that everything that came to follow. So this book was selling really during that time rather than now. About a month ago, it was selling. So there's no real recorded sales of the raws. I want to say slabs may be a little bit different. So let's take a look at that. That's what I thought. What we're seeing now is the slabs performing. So The one that sold for 275, really just a couple of days ago, that was a 9.8. And before that, a 9.8 sold for 169. That was November 28th. So just a couple of almost a month ago. And it's pretty much the same thing with it. So this one sale put it over the top.
Yeah, and there's just not a lot of them out there. And I think as they kind of come to market, we'll see what's going to settle at, if it's going to kind of level down a little bit or go for more.
Yeah, it is 500 copies.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, it's not selling because of Vampirella, even though people like Vampirella. It's that it's just the image. It's rather risque.
It was the perfect storm. It's New York Comic Con. It's limited print. Great artist. Great cover, like the colors and all of that. Very striking. Besides the image itself, but just the layout of it, it's just stands out.
I agree. So when this book was on sale in New York Comic Con, it was sold by day one. By day one, it was gone. There was no more. They were completely gone by morning of that Thursday morning when Comic Con opened. So there was a preview sale on Wednesdays, and they were being sold then. But then by Thursday morning, this book was gone. By noon, it was done. There was no more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, and 500 copies is a small amount of books.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that was the book that we talked about before. We've also talked about the next book, which we're going to continue to talk about it. And that is Mark Spears Monsters #1. This is the Bridezilla variant. This is from Keenspot. Even though there is a Kickstarter version, and I think that's the one that people should really start searching for. This book was back in September. It was #1 book on September 23rd. Had top weekly sales of $30. Weekly units sold were 42. Had a growth of 287%. The most common raws were at $20 near mint, and at that press time, there were no slabs. Do you think we're going to have a change?
I'm really looking forward to when issue 3 comes out, because now we're outside of where people could be shocked by Mark Spears covers. Mm-hmm. Everybody knew about the book in the FOC for issue 3, and I know I ordered 2 and I didn't order any of the other ones. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that issue 3. And I think that'll kind of indicate how strong the market is for his stuff.
This is when the book first came out. Okay. So we're looking at a book here that at this press time in September was totally new to everybody. And this was the start of the Mark Spears train. Now we're a couple of months into the hype of Mark Spears. He's still really hot. So let's take a look at this book now and how it's performed since then. So the last recorded sale of this book is at $200.
Wow.
Now that's one hell of a multiplier.
Oh, yeah.
Right. The most common raws.
10 times.
Exactly. The most common raws are $197. Now slabs are being sold, and the slabs are at $396. That's $4 away from $400.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. That's a 2-month period.
Those Mark Spears fans that are hardcore that had this book are ringing the bank machine right now.
Mm-hmm. Right. There's tons of variants, but if we look here, the book's highest sales was at November 22nd at $430. It has dipped about $30, but that's not really a dip. That's just someone. It was probably a bid or something like that.
Yeah, and again, this is similar to the other one where the graded ones are starting to flow in. Everybody's getting their submissions back. I know in Canada, because the postal strike was on, I'm sure there's a ton of sellers that had them stuck on the way here. So we're going to start to see, again, where this is going in the next little while.
Mm-hmm. And we look at the sales of performance. Let's see if it's been selling the last couple of days. So we have a sale that happened back on the 8th, November 30th, the 28th, the 10th. So it's starting to quiet down, but look at here. all these are December figures. All these sales are sales that were done in the month of December. So this book is still pretty hot, right? If we look at the slabs are always less. But if you see the slabs, we see that there was a sale here. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sales for 9.8. Somebody got it for $350. So it's selling.
Yeah.
The book is selling. And I don't know how long this Mark Spears train is going to last, though. And will he crash? That's my next question. Will we get to the point that we have oversaturation?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, especially with this series, like what's the next thing he's going to do that is his own instead of a cover?
Yeah. So there you have it, guys. First of all, I want to say thank you to the guys over at Cover Price for helping us out with this information. Here's a little video for you guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more comic content. Check out these other videos for even more insight, and I'll see you at the next one. Excelsior.